Hey, what is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with another overview of the Age of Apocalypse timeline in regards to now the events that have wrapped up as of recently. We're going to take a look in terms of what to project now based on what we've seen already past happening with the Scourges and Sagas, but as well it's been quite a start to the year already with the month of January wrapping up. What are we going to be expecting in the next couple of months based on everything that's happened so far? That's what we'll dive into. So just as a quick recap, guys, if you recall, this is the outstanding timeline in terms of what we've seen historically in the last year. So you can see all the activities that have happened since April 2022 up until December and obviously this month. But these are the different runnings that we've seen already in terms of Morgan, and then as well as Famine starting off in July. We had Red Hulk coming in with the War Scourge in September, and then lastly we had Archangel with the Death Scourge coming in December. Now, it's been pretty predictable ever since the actual continuity of it started going repetitive in terms of the Scourges being rerun again. What's outstanding, in my honest opinion, is essentially the remainder of the events that are going to come about prior to Apocalypse's unlock. So we got 1 to 2 War Scourges potentially with Red Hulk featuring. We should have at least 2 to 3 more of the Death Scourge featuring Archangel, just because he's only been out for a month. And we saw previously in December that, with him, there's going to be at least a guarantee of 2 times, as per Scopely's guidance, that all these legendary horsemen will run before Apocalypse's unlock. It was also interesting in the last couple of weeks because we got that leak of Apocalypse's kit. So very, very powerful for sure. If there's leaks coming out, we know that this release is coming soon. So it would be surprising if we hear about this in the next couple of weeks. But I mean, definitely not unexpected, just because we've known that these festivities have been happening for the last year, and they've had pretty much over a year to plan in anticipation of his release. Now, what's a little unclear though, however, is the other non-horseman characters that are going to be available in terms of needing to unlock Apocalypse. So, for example, if you recall, Spider-Weaver was the only character so far that was announced to be required to actually be participating in the unlock of Apocalypse. We haven't got much clarity on there yet, and additionally what they also added on the verbiage was that there's several characters, so that can range anywhere to a full team or maybe a couple more. But I mean, we haven't had that information yet available. Perhaps they're still tinkering around behind the scenes, but for the time being, at least we have this timeline in terms of what we've seen historically. How are we now going to apply what has happened, especially with the festivities in January, with the War Scourge being run again, but as well Famine Road Scourge being run as well. So timeline projection, guys. January, like I said earlier, we had the Red Hulk coming back for the second time. We also had Rogue for potentially the last time, guys. And then in February and March is kind of what we're expecting in terms of what we could anticipate for the next couple months. So the next Scourge event should be Death, the Death Scourge featuring Archangel for the second time, but as well as Red Hulk coming for number 3. So following that second Death Scourge, guys, if you recall, it's kind of similar to how the War Red Hulk Scourge was just run, was that the Saga shortly followed afterwards. So based on this information, we should expect the Saga for Archangel should be right afterwards, and then that way we can actually get the first opportunity to pretty much have all the sagas available prior to the Apocalypse Saga. If you're able to at least unlock the heroic difficulty for each of them, you would be able to unlock a well, that would be the starting steps to unlocking a baby Apocalypse, right? But again, we don't have access to the Apocalypse Saga in terms of the other characters yet, so that's going to be definitely food for thought. Afterwards, March 2023, we would expect Death Archangel to come back for number 3, and as well as the War Red Hulk Scourge coming for number 4. So I put a question mark there, guys, because we anticipate that it's gonna be pretty close to the anniversary in April 2023 for featuring Apocalypse, right? So it'll be interesting to see if they squeeze in a couple of more Scourges just in anticipation for Apocalypse, because at that point Morgan Le Fay would already have been out for almost a year. So it'll be interesting to see if these if the developers and game planners have decided to actually add that in one last time. But closing thoughts here. Yeah, like with the wrapping up of Rogue's Famine Scourge here, it could be very well the last time, kind of similar to what we saw Morgan Le Fay being the last time being run before the release of Apocalypse. Now that doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to ever come back to the game. It just means that prior to Apocalypse's release, anyways, they're not going to be available. So if you guys weren't able to unlock Rogue this time around, then you know that you're going to be missing potentially the boat on unlocking an Apocalypse earlier rather than later. So definitely good food for thought. My assumption was that this was going to be the last event for Morgan Le Fay earlier last year, but I mean the event came back more times than we thought. You know, we originally anticipated the Morgan Le Fay's Pestilence Scourge to come only 3 times, and it came back 4 times. And also came back in the way of being able to unlock shards via the Winter Festival presents. So that said, you honestly never know. My initial thoughts right now is that it could be the last time for Morgan Le Fay and Rogue before Apocalypse, but it could also come back in the way of orbs, come back in the way of power cores, potentially top up shards, guys. So it may be the last time we see the Scourge, but it may not be the last time we get shards of them prior to Apocalypse. So just keep that ready to go, especially given the number of events we've seen with character unlocks. Is definitely not out of the question if potentially they squeeze in some sort of ramping up event leading up to the unlock of Apocalypse. Other than that, guys, my other thoughts, like I said earlier previously, was that they confirmed there's other characters for Apocalypse. So my only suspicion then is that if, in a couple weeks or even a month or two, that they still haven't given us any guidance on this. And it may already be characters that exist in the game, and essentially all they have to do is just let us know which characters those are, right? So definitely will be a good opportunity to deep dive our roster and see which characters aren't being utilized, because with Spider Weaver being part of that strike team, same with Kestro, and as well as Deathpool, it'll be interesting if strike is considered as one of the requirements, but no confirmation as of yet. But I know that's definitely in the grapevine in terms of folks kind of sharing that information, and potentially that's the rumor, but we don't know until it's 100% confirmed by them, right? Just like the leak with Apocalypse's kit, you just won't know until it's officially announced. So there you guys have it. That's what we could potentially be expecting now in the next month or two leading up to Apocalypse's release. But again, so far the projection has been pretty accurate based on what we've seen, but you just never know in terms of the add-on, another Scourge or some sort of event that allows us the opportunity to unlock some remainder shards to unlock these characters leading up to the release. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted if I hear anything for sure. But other than that, business as usual. Hopefully you guys were able to capitalize on the 4th running of the Famine Scourge, but as well as Red Hulk. He's coming back for sure again, at least one more time. And as well, we can't forget the Dev Saga featuring Archangel. So there you guys have it. Thank you as always. Do appreciate checking out the videos. Good luck in your guys' shards, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.